Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome everyone to the special edition of the BNN podcast. Today, you can see I'm not by myself. I'm with my co-host OBG. What's up, OB?
I'm good, Ike. It's always good to be with you in the studio.
Oh man, it's a joy. So tell me, Valentine's weekend, what have you been up to, man?
Wow, it's been just creating memories, reflection, and then having fun together.
I like that. Creating memories, reflection, and having fun together. Today, Obi, our topic is what has love got to do with it? You know, this holiday is so hyped along. Man, let me tell you a story, right? It is amazing that how many couples might have gone under, either they would have broken up, they would have had fundamental issues in the relationship. People who have gone away sad this weekend, miserable, unhappy, because in their own world, they did not get flowers, they did not get gifts, they did not get something that has made them feel like they're not loved, right? And the truth of the matter is that in today's world, this whole celebration of Valentine has moved away from anything that looks like what it was all about initially and has now become so commercialized that the pressure is so much on relationships. Let me tell you, right from when I was in university, I could not stand this particular holiday. I couldn't understand why, as a young man at that age, right, why everybody had to line up, take a little savings that we had, a little pocket money that we had in school or college, to go and find the guys like my good friend Jeff Olisa, who was a very phenomenal and still is great graphic designer, to do design cars for us, right? Obi, the guy will design some very powerful cars, different styles, unique styles. Guys will be paying money, right? And then we'll buy chocolate with a little savings, and then we'll walk to the female hostel to go and give these gifts to our girlfriend. In some cases, guys who had more than one girlfriend, they were struggling to navigate their way. And then while you're doing that now, one heavy guy from town who's not a student, who has serious cash, will just send his driver in and does kill the girl with roses. You're like, what's all this all about, man? So I never liked the whole thing. And my friends used to say that at that young age, my problem was because I had too many babes. I was juggling back and forth. And I said it wasn't that, man, because at the end of the day, that's when you really know who's who, right? You get to know who is who on that day. But it was just unnecessary pressure. And now, as we're all grown, I have seen this pressure continue. So I'm like, what has real love got to do with Valentine's Day? And why is it all of a sudden putting a lot of pressure on relationship? I think personally, it's a waste of space. It's completely a waste of space. If you spend too much time focusing on romanticizing the day itself and not spending time focusing on the relationship that is actually that you're actually in, then it's a problem. You're not getting roses, you're upset. You're not getting perfume, you're upset. One guy sent his girlfriend roses. The girl said, "What is this? What are roses? What are you sending me roses for?" See, Gary, and all those things sent to me. Can I eat roses? I can't eat roses, right? So so it's just unnecessary pressure. Someone is buying his girlfriend a car. Others are faking it on Instagram, like oh, he just bought me a car. He bought me a car. Or some girls are sending themselves roses and say, "Oh my God!" I'm like, what the nonsense? What is all this about? It's just a waste of time. Love has been completely moved out of it. It's now that same pressure, and this is the same thing that almost happened. It's almost happening with Christmas. People are forgetting why we celebrate Christmas, the main purpose and the reason for Christmas, and now have made Christmas so much about commercial, giving gifts. The ultimate gift has been given to us through the birth of Jesus Christ and the price he paid to redeem mankind. As long as I'm concerned, that is the ultimate gift. So any other pressure that we find ourselves in is what we are now taking on. Obi, this is just my take, my 50 cents. And I hope what I'm saying will resonate with some man or some woman who's out there, just to know that you don't have to put yourself under tremendous pressure. You don't have to put your relationship under unnecessary pressure. Just have a good time. I had a great time this weekend, but it doesn't have to be pressurized. You know, you don't have to have this this, I don't know, forget it. You know, just tell me your thoughts, bro, because I can go on and on about this, and I'm seeing it everywhere.
So I can't agree with you less. For whatever you said, you're just on point with all you said. You know, people focus on the superficial aspect of this love. And because it is superficial, it simply means it is fake, it is misunderstood. I agree with you when you talked about the pressure growing up. In fact, those days we used to write what they call diplomatic in this, part of the world. I know you write beautiful letters. Sometimes you get one who can write well to write something lovely for you, create a card, send across. In fact, sometimes you have a go between, you and the girl. And, when that finally clicks, it's all beautiful. You're trying to give something to really show that you care. But as we grow older or we became mature, we discover it is quite different from what we perceived it to be ab initio. This is about love. And true love does not add pressure. True love does not bring fear. True love does not seek approval. True love is just pure. And it was true love that made me begin to be myself. And I told myself, whoever will come in my space and will accept me must accept me for who I am. And I got to understand that love have languages. If we find love, we must first begin to learn to speak our languages before Valentine. On a day like this, what partners do is to reflect and speak those languages the more to their partners. So it will be an aberration for my partner to question what I am giving on the Valentine's Day. And if I give something that is wrong, it is also an aberration because we both must have been speaking our language before the vows day. Languages, I mean, different languages of love as applied to different individuals.
Yeah, there's a book about I read many years ago about the
Some
five.
affection, some gifts, some
Yeah,
attention, like that. You must have discovered what is
affirmation, acts of service.
out of service exactly. So these are the true test and nature of love, and these are the things that should be focused on a day like this. And that is what creates memory, reflection, and gifts.
Wow, that's deep, Obi.
Quite practical. Could you believe I didn't go anywhere? We had time to sit down and talk about how we met, talk about how the journey began, talk about the memories. And guess what? That today we have built another memory that we can reflect on in years to come. We had things in the house to eat. We ate what we had. We didn't make it a social thing. We didn't bring it to the media for people to see how we celebrate it. No, it is not for others to see. It is for both persons. And permit me to say, this goes beyond you and your partner. For someone who might be saying, I don't have a partner, what is the love you have for yourself? Because first, it begins from you. If you don't have it, you can't give it. So how much
Oh,
more have you?
Obi, that's deep. That's deep. Wow, that's deep, man. I
I,
like that. I like that. If you don't have it, you can't give it. That is deep. It starts with you.
mm,
It truly starts with you. It starts with the person, the individual who really wants to find out um, more about who they are as a person and what they have to offer as a person. I completely agree with you. Wow, I thank you so much. I hope someone heard what Obi just said about how he spent his own Valentine's Day. Mine had a little bit of a flair around it. Went out, hung out for some kind of um, it was supposed to be like a James Bond event. And with all due respect, It was almost like a waste of time because the event went on for long. They didn't serve dinner till almost very, very late, and you pay money for these kind of things, and it's just a complete waste. But that's a story for another day. But yeah. So as long as I was concerned, it just dawned on me again that this is not supposed to be um, uh, an event that should bring unnecessary pressure on most guys, and it shouldn't make women feel like they're not cared for, or they're not loved, or they're not appreciated, because they are. Men respond to these things differently, and women respond to these things obviously differently. But like you just said, Obi, I think it's a time for people to pause and reflect. One of the things I also found out that I said when I was thinking about it, I said, how about if we flip the script next year, and then we start asking women to give men gifts? In other words, if the women would not be the ones to take the men out, if the women would not be the ones to take the to buy gifts for the guys, how would that look like next year, right? All these women that are giving unnecessary heat and stress and worrying their husbands and their spouses, or their partners or their boyfriends, they will just change. No, 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 we can't do that anymore. So they will now begin to realize that it's just not it. But go ahead. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, but one of the things I want to add there is I think that's the narrative we get wrong. The Valentine celebration is not a gender-based celebration. It is for both genders. So
Correct.
love does not have gender. Love is unisex, in my own opinion. So when we say partners celebrate love, and we say love have languages that they speak, and it is those languages that we commemorate on a day like this. And what I'm saying is my partner as a female is on her too to celebrate that moment with me. If I have that language that speaks of affection and whatever, gift or what, in fact, it's a moment of exchange of gift and appreciation of both persons. So if I'm getting a gift for you, you can as well get a gift for me. It is not mandatory that it will have to be the man that will give the gift. No, it is a both thing. We are partners in this. We are in love. If you are in love, what do you have to show? Bible says, "For God so loved the world that He gave." There is a sacrifice to this love. So I am sacrificing something. You are in love with me, and you are sacrificing something. It is not a gender based.
Mm, I agree. I agree. Everybody should sacrifice and give. If and especially, there's some people that think that every woman needs flowers. I've met women that flowers don't move them. It's not their love language. If you take out the mall and cut the grass for them, or you change the light bulbs in the house on that day, or you tell her to, hey, take a day off, go to the spa, and then take care of the kids, run around, prepare lunch, send the kids to school. That makes more sense to her than a bouquet of flowers that you would send just once in every 1 year. So you really have to. I agree with you. You have to understand the person's love language. It could be just words that you speak into them and understand um, how they feel, how they're responding, and then from there you just begin to grow, um, and like you said, reflect. Um, Reflect with each other, ask very intimate questions, see each other, and have an understanding of how people feel. I think communication is also very important at a time like this. I love love as a person. I'm a romantic at heart. Those who know me as that. But this Valentine's Day thing, uh, I can't tell you a number of calls from my friends, my male friends, and even some of my female friends that called to say they were sad and not happy because they didn't get the expected, response from their loved one. And again, the word is expected, because I always tell people that if you manage your expectations, you don't get hurt. If you manage your expectations, you will not feel the need to respond in a certain way, right? It's when those expectations are not met, then that's when the pressure comes. But hey, what's your take before we take a break?
Yes. So, that expectation again takes me back to what I said at the initial. If both persons have been together for more than 2 years and there is still this failure as regards expectation, then it means that both persons have either well have not been sincere to themselves or have not actually taken time to understand themselves. Because
I no, no, no. Let me sorry for interrupting you. I don't agree with you on that because, for
okay,
instance, this couple that had this issue, they've been together for more than 25 years, right? And it's been a happy time, but it's just people are in different phases. Where you are as a young girl at the age of 25 might not be where you are at the age of 35. You might get to 50 and all of a sudden, you're reflecting on life differently, right? So by the time you get into your maybe late 50s, you know, um, and there's certain expectations that you have that are not being fulfilled. It opens up doors for your mind to start playing tricks on you, right? And your emotions will now kick in, and expectations are very always come from the place of emotions. So I don't completely agree with you that because if you know yourself after 2 years, you haven't been very sincere. You could be very sincere about the stages of life. Initially it was just you, your husband, and your kids. Then the kids are growing, they're moving away, they're moving away, moving away, moving away. If they're moving away, then now you have like what they call an empty nest. You now have more time to reflect. So your expectations are I need him to do more, or I need her to do more, right? If neither party is understanding and there's no communication, which I said initially, then that could be a problem. And that is the expectation. It's not because they're not being sincere to themselves, it's just that they haven't had time to communicate or to revisit or reflect on the relationship like you just did over the weekend or Friday. So that could be the problem. So I had to interject there. Forgive me because somebody on my podcast would be saying, "What's Obi talking about?"
okay, I agree with you. But what I'm trying to bring out is this: our language is like our nature; it is constant with us without even we knowing it. It is something that catches you without knowing. It is more like your weak areas or your easy touch points. If one wants to get your attention, those are the things they do and they can easily get your attention. It is your
Right.
nature. So the area of when you say you're disappointed, it means maybe those things are no longer being observed. And that is where there is need for a time like this, we can sit down and do a kind of evaluation to see are we still in touch with our languages?
Wow.
Are we still in touch with those things that you know that triggered the interest in each other? How better do we speak this language? Are we beginning to forget this language? You get? Are we beginning to forget this thing that triggered this love so far? So that's what me I see. But I believe that in the course of this segment, we'll look at some of those key points that me I believe that on a day like this should be what we will be looking at. Maybe when we're going on a break and we're back, so we could just see some of those touch points that will help partners, improve and do better in their love life.
Okay. Let's take a break and then we'll come back. We're back today with OBT and I are discussing this podcast. Please, if you don't follow us, this is an opportunity to follow us on all our socials. Check us out, like us, notify, and let us know that you are interested in what we have to say on this podcast so we can continue to grow. Our numbers have increased on Instagram and on YouTube to almost 10,000 followers. We get at least an average of 1,000 people every single weekend. And this weekend, there's no exception. So all the people who have logged in today, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Obi, I think we have to find a way very soon to give back and just do one of those giveaways and just bless people for all the stuff they've done for us over the years. This is like almost 4 years back to back, every single Saturday. Obi and I are here without, except for one that happened last month that the whole team almost got fired for. But we have been here consistently, and we've never gone back to say, whether during rain, sunshine, no matter what, the show must always go on. So thank you for enhancing what we're doing, and as we continue to work. So we need you to support us, like, share, and please, please, please tell your friends, your loved ones, your family members. It's the BNS podcast every Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I won't tell you what time it is in your nation, in your country, because all those times vary over the port, but it's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the DMV area. My man, Obi, who's actually in Lagos, he's been a pillar throughout this whole journey. Bro, I love you. So let's talk about what we were discussing earlier on. Before you left, we were talking about what has love got to do with Valentine's Day in today's world, and we shared a little bit about it. There's something you're hitting on. I think we should just talk about it, and then we can go back. Let's look at love languages, right? So they have 5 languages. If I remember very clearly, it's hold on a second. Let me see if my memory catch me. It's words of affirmation. It's acts of service. It's physical touch or something like touch. What else again? It's is it like words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, gifts. I think gifts is one of them, and I can't remember the 5th one, but I'll find it before you go ahead. But these are the 5 love languages that people speak, and they speak them differently. If you haven't done that love language test, I'll ask you to take it. This weekend is a good weekend. Here in the US, it's a holiday tomorrow, so if you're not working, take out time and just reflect and find out what your love language is for yourself first. Go and just do the personal test on your own so you can find out what it is for you. And you'll be surprised sometimes when you get, sometimes you might find out you fall in between 2 or 3 different love languages, and that's okay. And then from there, you now begin to find out what your spouse is. So, or your friend is, or your companion is, or your partner is. So you can actually now speak their language. Because the worst thing is speaking Igbo to someone who is Chinese and they can't understand what you're saying, or speaking Patois to someone who is from Cuba and you can't understand what they're saying. So at the end of the day, you want to speak the language that everybody can communicate in. Obi, what are your love languages if you know them?
Yeah. So for me, words of affirmation, it's there. Um, uh, and I think out of service, yeah, and gifts too. Now, so to add to what you said, um, I want to just give a little to how you can discover yours and how you can discover that of your partner. Now, when you want to discover your own love language, pay attention to the things you do, how you want to show love, when you want to show love to others. Sometimes we're not conscious of those things. But pay attention to when you want to show love, the things you do, how you want to express love to others are your love language. And then for your partner, pay attention to how they express love to you. That is their language. And when you give them back that, they understand it. So it begins with you paying attention to yourself, how you express love, and attention how they express love. So if you understand how they express love in that same way. And that is just basically what it is for
But
love language.
if you express love in the way that your partner has expressed love to you, sorry, there's a rattle in the background. Yeah, if you express love in the way that your partner has expressed love to you, right? It works for them, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work for you. It works for you, but it doesn't work for them. So take for instance, if I express love by words of affirmation, right, and that is not your love language, right, and then you now show me love by affirming me, what you have done is you've taken care of my own. How about your own? Oh, I remember now. The fifth one is quality time. There you go. Something still did his head. So the fifth one is quite.
So can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? What I'm trying to say? What I'm saying is to discover your own. How do you express love is your own. And that is what they should speak to you. So if mine is words of affirmation, and she understands his words of affirmation, and she speaks with words of affirmation, right? I understand it. And when I pay attention to her and see that it is quality time that she speaks, I give quality time. I am doing hers. When she's doing mine, it is me that she is doing for. And when I'm doing hers, it is her. She is the one I have in mind so that she could feel, you know, accepted as well. So both
Yeah,
of us,
okay, the problem, the challenge I'm having here with your explanation, and forgive me,
okay,
maybe it's me just getting old, right?
yeah.
It's what I'm hearing is that
Mm-hmm.
expressing, you're expressing your your love language on your partner. That's what I'm hearing you say. Because if you're expressing your own love language, okay, correct me, sorry.
No, no, that's not what I'm saying. First, I talked of how to discover yours.
We agree on that one. What's the
Yeah, and
next part? Yeah.
I said then you pay attention to how she expresses love and give her how she expresses love. I'll break it down again. Listen, as I said, if she demonstrates her love by quality of time, now you give her quality of time. And she has observed you that yours is act of service. And she returns act of service, maybe help you do things, around you, put things together. That is the love language you understand. And that is her speaking that. But hers is quality time, not yours. So you're spending quality times just to get her accommodated. And in that way, both of you are exchanging the language.
So
Perfect.
so and this could be the sorry. Instead of observing, why don't you just ask the question? I mean, come on. Instead of you to spend all that time trying to observe, right? Why don't I just say, hey, Obi, what is your love language? And if Obi doesn't know, then Obi can now go and check and find out what his love language is, right?
What is there?
You spend that observing hit and miss. Before you know it, there's trouble in the land.
So,
Ask
so
the
the,
question. Say, hey,
the
how do you express love? What is it I do that makes you feel secure or feel loved? And the funny thing, I found out that the one about quality, physical touch is not sexual intimacy. It's not that. Do you understand? It could be something as simple as walking on the street and holding each other's hands, right? Or you're in the kitchen and you're walking by and you just squeeze her back or pat her, a small. People say, this guy is not very Christian. I am. Oh, this is what Jesus created for us. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. But you do understand? So those physical touches are the things that yeah. So I think you really have to understand what the person's love language is, and I think that's a good place for us to start winding down today's show. So please, guys, the challenge is don't make out time. Find out from your partner what is their love language. And the easiest way to do it is ask the question. If they don't know, send them online to the test there. It takes about 3-4 minutes. It's very easy. Like I said, 5 love languages. There's the act of service, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, and the last one is what was the last one again? And I said acts of service, and there's the last one. Okay, that's fine. I can't go through this again. But yeah, you got it the first time when I gave it to you. Words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, receiving gifts. That one, receiving gifts is another big one. And gifts can be received in different ways. So those are the 5. Find out what your own is. I mean, what's your last question for the day, brother? Before we
yeah.
can
So
move on.
so before we leave, I have been pondering on something that
Oh,
bothers me. And usually when people stay for so long relationship and all of a sudden they are no longer together and they can't find memories. that can help them stay. It baffles me. And I wish you can just put a little light on it. How do people celebrate love for years and at one point they can't get along again? They can't even find anything, any bond to stay together. How does that happen?
Whew. When you ask this question, I I try to shy away from them because it's it forces me to become vulnerable in my own space. And the reason why is because I have been through that myself personally. uh, and then so I know what it's like, right? But I also understand that my vulnerability is to lift up, inspire, and uphold somebody else to make sure that if they're going through the same thing, they can overcome it, and if they're not going through the same thing, they can prevent it from happening. For me, and this is just my perspective, I think the reason why people who have been together for so long all of a sudden fall apart, maybe three or four areas, and hopefully this is just my opinion. One, the foundation. What was the foundation of the relationship initially, right? If the motive was, I just want to get married, and you meet somebody and you just want to get married, or I want to have children, and you meet somebody and it's just for you to have kids, the foundation is not good enough, right? Then if the foundation is not right, then everything else falls apart. Because if you build, those who are in the engineering and construction business will tell you, if you ever build on a faulty foundation, it's just a matter of time, the whole thing will collapse. So the foundation has to be poured in and become so solid that whatever you put on top of it can sustain the matter of the can sustain the time. So foundation. Two is compatibility. How compatible are the two individuals? Genuinely compatible, right? How do they support each other? How do they encourage each other? How do they complement each other? If you spend time looking at, because nobody's perfect. I always say that on this platform. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. And you outside listening to us now, you're not perfect, right? So nobody's perfect. But if you spend time focusing on the weakness of your partner, that is what you magnify, right? Whatever you focus on, you magnify. So you spend time focusing on the weakness of your partner, that is what you magnify. If you focus on their strengths, that is what you also magnify. So in this case, if you spend time saying this person, you're not good with numbers, you're not good with this, you're not good with that, you're not good with keeping the house tidy, you're not good with children, you're not good. So all you're highlighting is what they're not good at. Your perception of the person begins to change with time. That is why people get to drift apart. And so most times it's very, very, very gentle. Then, if you are not getting the needs of what you want and desire, the chances are that human beings, being what we are psychologically and physically built, we will start looking for those needs somewhere else. That's a big problem. So, your partner or your spouse has to be your friend, because the love thing will go up and down. But that friendship, that genuine friendship, this is not my guy. Do you understand? Always keeps that thing going. Because even there's some people that you might date and break up with them, but you still are you might never have anything physical again with them, but you guys still keep a very healthy friendship. Why? Because genuinely you guys were friends. Romantically, you've had problems, people went about their different ways. Um, life took you in different directions, whatever the case may be. But deep down at the core, you guys have remained good friends, right? And it doesn't mean that you're going to cross boundaries because of it, but it just means that that's a healthy place. Now, imagine a spouse who have that together. They will always have problems, and as friends, they will always find a way to fix that thing. So for me, as you asked me, these are the things I see why people will drift away. Now, unforgiveness and the hardness of the heart. I'm talking to you. You, you, I'm talking to you. Unforgiveness and the hardness of the heart has now brought it to the point where you can't move forward anymore. That's it. And all it takes is just one person. My audience are listening, they're out there listening to me, and they know I'm saying the truth right now. It takes one person with a hard heart, never to say, I can't do this anymore, and turn away, and everything falls apart because it takes two to tango. So if one person goes away, that's it. And then I think scripture says something: if the unforgiving spouse wants to leave, uh, let them leave, because they know that if the person is so unforgiving that they cannot take the person back or work with on that relationship, or for whatever it is, they feel like they can't come back from that trauma, or they can't come back from that experience that they've had, then it's a no-show. It's not going to resolve. And if you stay for the wrong reasons, like you say, oh, I'm staying for the children, I'm staying for this, and I stay for that, and you're in a toxic or an abusive relationship, at the end of the day, that environment only makes matters worse because that's what the children will see, and the children will think is the norm, and the next generation will carry it on. Maybe we have passed our time on this special event, this special podcast. What has love got to do with it? I think I've shared my heart out on this one, and I think you've done the same too. But if you have anything else you want to say, my brother, let's wrap this show up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure, like I said earlier, being with you. But then we virtually said it all. I just want to mention these key areas, those key points that I just wanted our viewers to reflect on a day like this. I wrote down five of them. One is deepening your bond, which means you must have time to engage in meaningful conversations. Sit
Quality
down,
time.
take time, your commitments to each other. And then the second to it is personalized gesture. You need to think about what your partner truly values and plan activities or gifts, that cater specifically to their interests. Very, very important. And then the
Physical.
next is quality time. There is need to spend quality time together, talk, do whatever you want to do, but that time must have to focus on being present in the moment and fully enjoying, the time spent together, whether it is fancy dinner like you went on a dinner or movie or whatever, but that quality time, nothing should distract it. And then the other to it is
and, and,
very
and with quality time, for interrupting, and with quality time, it is not the length of time you spend together. It is
quality.
quality of time.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
everybody's very busy. People are very busy these days, so everybody's doing their own thing. But when that
yeah,
time comes, you shut down everything that is just you and that person, or you and
yeah,
your partner, you and your spouse, or you and your children, whatever it is, even your children, you should have
yeah,
relationship with them. You have kids, or you and your
yeah,
family members. Just have quality time. This love language is not only romantically involved.
yeah.
This love language is family. It's everywhere, right? So you can love your siblings and care about them. Just show that in quality time. Go ahead, Obi. Sorry.
Yeah. And the second to the last to it is gratitude and appreciation.
Oh yes, words of affirmation.
Who could have married a guy like me,
Mm,
like you? So
yeah.
I appreciate my
I don't
wife.
know how she did it, man. But you got an angel. You got an angel in your house, no doubt about it. One first time I saw her. First time I was gonna call her name on the platform, but don't worry. First time I saw her, I was like, this poor girl is about to get into trouble. That she's just marrying a gangster without knowing it. But you know what? That's what you
Wow.
needed. That's what
Good.
you needed. That very gentle, soft,
Yeah.
funny feelings. Like she's
Yeah.
just there to support you. So in your
Yeah.
heat and your badness, and she
Yeah.
can be very strong-headed when she wants to be.
Yeah.
But it takes her a while to get there. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, she's got a genuine heart. That's my daughter. I truly love her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's gratitude, spreads seeing gratitude and appreciation to each other for the support and for the acceptance. Very, very important. And the last to it is positive emotions. And these positive emotions tend to create a joyful and loving atmosphere filled with laughter and affection. It doesn't have to be sex,
Yeah.
but that, we focus, like you said, focusing on each other's positive aspect,
Yeah.
positive areas, and then create laughter and joyful moments.
A lot
And
of
for
love.
those who do not have partners, make yourself your partner so you could learn and have enough to give and receive.
Wow. Thank you, Obi. This is the BNN podcast where we share our minds, our thoughts, and expressions, our experiences. Hopefully, it will inspire someone. Yes, we went over a little bit today because it's a special event. Hey, this weekend has been very interesting. And for those of us in the US, tomorrow is a holiday, so what's the big deal? You can spend time watching. And if you haven't watched it before, go back and check out our other episodes. But again, what has love got to do with it? We've seen it's not a bad thing. because love has a lot to do with the Valentine's Day. And we also know that love sometimes has got little or nothing to do with the experiences that people experience on that Valentine's Day. So thank you again for supporting us in our famous three words: love, peace, and more grace. Both Obi and I wish you a fantastic weekend. And as the month is running ahead, please focus on your plans. So at the end of this year, you all look back and say, wow, I did it. The year is almost over. I can't say that enough. Take care and see you next week. Love. Peace out. All right, man. Bro, take care of yourself. See you soon.